What's up, guys? This is Brent with Western Equipment. Now let's jump right in and start talking about this XUV590M, starting with the model number. All right, now what we're gonna have here on the model number is, first off, we're gonna have the XUV. Now this stands for Crossover Utility Vehicle. Now when we move down here to the 590, first of all, the 5 here is going to indicate the class of Gator that we're in. Now the 5s are going to be mid-size Gators, and then if we put all of this together, the 590, this is going to be a representation of the CCs of this engine. So the engine on this 590 is actually 586, but 590 just looks a lot cleaner, so they went with the 590. Now on the end here, this is going to be our trim level indicator. So like a lot of John Deere equipment in these, we can have E's, M's, R's. So the E is going to be our economy level or base level machine. The M is sort of the mid-spec model machine, just meaning it has a few more features than the E. And then if we had an R, that would be the loaded out version or the more Cadillac version of this machine. Now, a couple of the features that are going to make this mid-size Gator an M trim level is going to be, one is that these have power steering standard from the factory, whereas if we're in an E series machine in the mid-size, you will not have that power steering. And the other big thing is that the engine is going to be an inline 2-cylinder fuel injected engine, whereas on an E model that is going to be a carbureted V-twin engine, and it is going to be air cooled, whereas the M series is going to be liquid cooled. Now to start, let's talk a little bit about the front of the machine. So what we have here standard on this one is going to be a front brush guard. If you do get into one of these machines and it does not have it, this is an orderable attachment, along with various other brush guards that can go around the machine as well. Now here on the 590, you're gonna have a slot down here at the bottom that is ready to go for a winch. We're also going to have the dual beam LED headlights here in the front, and then you're also going to have a couple of pop outs here where you can add those turn signals to this machine if you want to. Now let's go ahead and pull back the brush guard by pulling out these 2 side pins. Now once we get those 2 side pins pulled out, we can pull forward here on the brush guard, and then we can get underneath the hood by removing 2 clasps, one on one side, one on the other. Now once we get this hood open, the main things that we're going to see underneath here, for one, is going to be our storage compartment here. Then we're going to have access to our radiator right here in the front, and then also access to the back of our lights here that are underneath the hood. And then over on each side, you're going to have good open access to everything else underneath the machine. You can get to all of your suspension components, such as your shocks. We can get to our brake fluid reservoir, and also just see all the other components that go into that dual A-arm independent suspension on either side. Now, these machines are going to come in 3 different color schemes. We're going to have the classic John Deere green and yellow. We're also going to have the olive and black version. And then we also have the option for this camo as well. Now, also whenever we are talking about wheel options, so here we have the black and silver alloy rims here with the Maxxis Bighorn tires, and that is going to be your main option here on a camo Gator. You can also get the black steel wheels as well. If we move to the olive and black version, that is also going to be the black wheels on that. And then if we move to the John Deere green and yellow, then we have the option for the yellow wheels. Now you will have the option either for the alloy wheels that we have here, or we can get the steel wheels. Then you're going to have the option also for the Terrahawk all-terrain tires or the Maxxis Bighorn like we see here. Now moving to the rear of the machine, what we're going to have here on this bed, this is going to be a composite bed, meaning that it is made out of that hardened plastic material. It is going to be 32 inches long by 47 inches wide and about 12 inches deep. Now over on each side, you are going to have the fender wells that come up, so that is going to take away a little bit from your storage capacity, but you're also going to have these tie down points here in the bed. And then also you'll see over here on the side of the bed, we'll see these pre-drilled holes here, and these are going to be pre-drilled holes that are ready to add such things as the box extension, or we can add in the side rails. All of these things are attachments that can be added to add to the storage of this back box. Now this is going to have a storage capacity back here of 500 pounds, and then you're going to have a towing capacity at the rear of 1,500 pounds. Now for that towing, you are going to have a 2-inch receiver down here at the bottom. We've got 2 chain hooks there that can also act as tie down points, and then we're going to have our dual A-arm independent suspension on each side as well. Now moving back up here to the tailgate, one nice thing about this is that it is going to be a single point tailgate here, so we're not having to undo 2 different clasps to get this tailgate open. So if you're doing those things where you're carrying a load with one hand and only have one free, you'll easily be able to get this tailgate open. to be able to get those things in and out. Now, if we're looking to dump this bed, you do have the option of getting into an electronic lift for this bed, but you're also going to have levers on each side of the bed where you can raise this up and dump it manually. This is going to give you limited access to your engine, which is going to be right underneath the bed. Now, if you need to be able to get full access to your engine, this bed is easily taken off right back here at its pivot points. So if you need to remove that to do any service, you can do that as well. And then also, once we're here, we notice that right there, since we're at our engine, that yellow loop is going to be our engine oil dipstick, and then access to our air filter is going to be right here. We see these rubber tabs here. We're just simply going to pull those loose, raise up on this, and that is going to give us access to the air filter. Now, before I hop in the driver's seat and show you all of the controls, talk a little bit here about our operator retention system, or more simply put, the doors. So on these machines, they are going to come standard with the net doors, but you can also add the half doors to these machines, and also there are some full door options as well. You can also add back panels to these and windshields to give that sort of cab feel. Now, this isn't going to be a fully sealed cab that is going to work well for such things as an HVAC system, which these machines do not have, but you can get that full enclosure so you can be out of the elements whenever you're working in this machine. So these net doors are going to be held on by these seatbelt clamps. And then one other thing here before we hop in is under the seat here are going to be a couple of things that you need to know. Over here on the right hand side, this is going to be where your battery is. Then we're going to have a storage compartment in the middle, and then over to the left is going to be where our fuel tank is located, and that is going to give you a little bit of access if you have to do any work on those lines there at the fuel tank. And then right here in the middle, if we remove this tab here, this is where we're going to get our engine oil fill. Now, as we're getting in, first thing to notice is that over here on the driver's side, right below the seat, this is where our fuel fill is going to be. This is going to have a 7.4 gallon tank, and then all of the seats on the mid-size Gators are going to be the black vinyl seats. Now, used to in the John Deere green and yellow, you could get into a yellow seat, but as of 2023, John Deere has done away with the yellow seat simply due to the fact that the black seats do not get near as dirty. Now, once we hop into the machine, very good foot space over here. I wear a size 11 shoe. I have no problem sliding in and out. You are going to have a bit of a partition here in the middle. This is going to be a good thing. For one, that's where your drive system goes through, but also it gives you a little bit of separation from your passenger if you have somebody else on board, so your feet aren't sliding around, getting tangled up, anything like that. Now, as far as controls goes, up here on the dash on the left-hand side, we're going to see a bunch of knockouts here. Like I said, with these Gators, there is a ton of customization that can be done, so you do have plenty of knockouts, not only over here on the left, but also over here on the right to add different attachments to this machine. Now, right here in the middle, we're going to have a really nice bright display panel. I can simply turn the switch over one to be able to get that to turn on. So we're going to have such things on here on the main screen of our RPMs. We're going to have our speedometer there in the middle. We're going to have a temperature gauge there at the top, and then our fuel gauge right there on the screen as well. And then down here at the bottom, we're going to have different things that we can cycle through. We have a little information button over here. A lot of times it's going to be on the odometer right there at first, but we can hit that button and change it to trip. We can also change it to hours and then back to odometer. And then right above our information button is going to be a brightness button. So we can hit this to change that brightness, either go all the way up to 100, we can go to 20%, 40%, and all the way up. So this is a really nice feature if you're in the sun, kind of like we are here. We have that sun beaming in. That's not a factor on my screen here at all. With that bright display, you can always see that, so that is a nice feature also. Now over here on the left-hand side, we're gonna see what looks like a chart here of our tires, and that is exactly what it is. So right now, we just have the rear tires lit up, which means we are in two-wheel drive. So in the middle, we have our four-wheel drive engagement switch. So if I hit that switch, you'll see here that now our front tires are lit up, so that means we are in four-wheel drive. We also have a differential lock switch over here, so if we hit that switch, now we'll see that we have a lock right here on our back tires, and that is going to mean that our rear differential is locked. So if we're in those really sticky, muddy, slick situations, then we want to lock everything in. We want to have our rear tires locked together. We want to have our four-wheel drive engaged, and this is going to help us get unstuck the fastest. And now also right here in the middle, we're going to have our gear right there on the dash, a lot like our cars. So right now it shows that we're in park, but if I were to go ahead and start this thing up, now, if I want to go ahead and change gears, it's going to be right here on this gear shift. I'm just going to simply raise up. That's going to put us in reverse. Then we have our neutral position, and we've got our high, and we've got our low. So I'm just going to go ahead, drop this back down into park. Now this is in the low idle, so I'm going to give it a little bit of fuel so you can hear how it sounds. pretty smooth. They're not real loud, really smooth driving machines, but that is going to be our main controls here in the driver's seat. Now, some other things that you're going to have here in the operator station is, for one, we're going to have a couple of cup holders right here up top, and we're also going to have a 12-volt outlet here. So if we need to do those things such as charge our phone, whatever those things are we may need a 12-volt for, we do have that right here on board. And then we're also going to have a glove compartment over here to the right. This is oftentimes where we're going to find our operator manual, and then most of the time these 590s are going to be winch ready, which means that it's going to have a lot of the wiring that you need to go ahead and add a winch. So down here in our glove compartment, we're going to see this plug right here, and that is going to be for your winch controller. Now let's go over a few of the specs and dimensions of this machine. So as far as dimensions goes, we're going to be 56.5 inches wide, 113 inches long, and 73.5 inches tall at the highest point. Now, some of the specs of this machine, speed-wise, is always a big one. This machine is going to have a top speed of 48 miles per hour. We mentioned that it has a 7.4 gallon tank on it. We mentioned the bed size before with the 500-pound capacity and the 1,500-pound towing capacity as well. Now, whenever we are talking about warranty on this machine, we're going to have a 1-year, 1,000-hour, whichever comes first, warranty on this machine. Now, you can look at adding warranty to these machines as well for an additional cost. And as far as price on these machines goes, list price is going to be somewhere around the $19,000 range. But I always tell everybody that if you are looking into one of these machines, you want to get in touch with your local dealer to see what type of deals and incentives are going on, because a lot of time that list price can be come off of. So make sure to go talk to them if you are looking for one of these machines. So guys, I hope this video helped you out. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, we just asked you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also guys, if you're looking for any John Deere parts at all, make sure to go check us out at 247parts.com. And as always guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to check out this cool video and this one. Buy your parts right up here and subscribe right here.